Welcome back to Full Drive Bench Crew. My name is Voss, and today I'm going to show you how we got this awesome light bar installed from NovSight. It is July, so we got holiday discounts on NovSight website, and this is some of the products you can get there. So I got a light pods, 4.5 inch, and I assembled a light bar, and they're pretty cool. So let's see how I got it together, and then we'll see how it looks out in the field. We are doing a new light bar for my Jeep. I had an Ox-Beam light bar for a while. It's a second one. They replaced one of them because it had moisture damage in it, and it's been a couple years, and it's been about a year since I had the second light bar fail during the snowstorms and everything. I just got bubbles, moisture bubbles inside the light bar, and they don't go away through the summer, so the water stays in it. So it's time to put something else up there. So I know that I like the pods that I have on my Jeep for the ditch lights. We have a nice light bar on Sasha's Jeep that you can see in one of the videos before we did. And I'm like, well, they have different types of lights that they have in this system, the Halo package. And I went with the 4.5s because they are rectangle. They have the round ones, they have the triangle ones, and the rectangle. The XJs, you just have to put something square and boxy on those Jeeps because that's the shape of them. So I'm gonna assemble a light bar consisting of 6 of these pods. I got 4 spot beams and 2 floods. So my plan is to put 4 spot beams in the center to shoot beams straight across, and then the flood's gonna do the sides. And then if I turn on my ditch lights, I will have completely the front end covered full of lights. And the other cool thing about these lights is they have a halo around them, as you see in the picture, that it glows around. But this is the Halo Pro version, and they have different options for how you want your halo to look. You can have it flash, you can have it do whatever. So it's kind of hard to make it work really easy with the whole light bar. If you would just be using the 2 pods, it has a nice wiring harness with it, and the buttons, you can change modes. But because I'm gonna have a light bar, I don't want to have 6 switches for the whole light bar thing. So I got from NovSight a 8-gain switch panel, which I can program whatever button I want to do whatever I need it to do. So it's gonna be pretty cool. The other cool thing about this 8-gain, this is a wireless version. So there's no wires that go to this. So I can mount it wherever I want it in my Jeep, and I can charge it when I need to when it's low. You can just recharge your battery with the USB-C, which my whole GoPro system, my whole Jeep is ran on USB-C inside. So this is gonna be my switch panel, and then this is the fuse box that it connects. So all this is gonna be under the hood of the Jeep, where all of this can connect to different things and be perfect for me. So I don't have to run any wires to the inside of my Jeep. And that's gonna be the time saver for me to install this. I just have to put the fuse box under the hood, run wires from the light bar down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out what the spacing I need to have between the lights and start assembling a light bar on probably a piece of angle iron that we're gonna later bolt up to my Jeep. All right, so I just did some measurements with the brackets, and 6.5 from center to center on the hole, on the main bolt holes, is going to be the best. And I don't want them to spin around, so I'm going to use an angle iron, and we're just going to drill holes for that bolt to go through right there, and then we can make the bends on the angle iron to go on my roof rack. When you order your NovSight Halo series lights, this is what you get. You get a stack of stickers. You get your little warranty activation system, and you get your lights. And an awesome wiring harness. So I showed this before when I got other lights with them, and the wiring harness are pretty quality. And you have your brackets and your pack of bolts, which we're gonna end up using them all. So this is gonna be pretty cool. I gotta lay out all my light pods out so I can do the proper measurements of everything. All right, I got the light bar put together and looks like we're good to go. The brackets are locked in, so I can't really turn them left or right, but we got a little bit of left and right on some of them, so that should be good. Look at that. All right, now we're gonna try to bring it up to my Jeep and see how it looks there. All right, let's look what this thing's gonna look like. Sit on here. That shouldn't be too bad. Just gotta measure it out where I'm gonna have it and start bolting rib nuts for it. This thing's gonna be pretty dope. I got the bar installed. Doesn't look too bad, especially when you have the ditch lights. Looks similar. Next, we're gonna have to upgrade my bumper lights to the similar style. So, yeah. Doesn't look too bad. Now I just gotta wire it up and level them all out and we should be good to go. All right, it's lunchtime, so I'll be back a little bit later. I'm gonna go rest a little because it's getting hot. I do have a swamp cooler I can turn on, but it's gonna make a lot of wind noise. But next project is all about wiring. But doesn't look too bad up here. Okay, so we're chopping up the existing wire harnesses in order to build our own. So I got 6 of the existing harnesses or wiring terminals, so I made them into pigtails. So now I gotta make them 6 to 1 basically. So from 6 lights to 1 that's gonna go down to our control panel, and it's gonna power all of them. So these wires are not super thick, so I don't have a big problem with running a 15 amp fuse on the system. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna lay them out and make sure all of them reach. It's provided nice harnesses with a whole bunch of zip ties if you ever need them. They're always there. All right, so here we got all of our lights. So the farthest the outer ones can reach are all the way to the center of the system. So if I can build something that's gonna kind of meet in the middle, or maybe towards the passenger side, because that's where I have the wires coming down. So I'm gonna match them up to the longest ones I cut, so we can lay them all out and make a 6-to-1 harness on the passenger side. So after measuring things out, it looks like all of our cables kind of join up right around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some zip ties, knowing that this is how they line up on the rack. And then we can disconnect them all and take them to the bench and create a 6-to-1 on the bench, not on top of a roof rack, because it's really uncomfortable to work over here. So I want to use the similar wires that came on the harness. They're way too long, but the only problem is putting all 6 lights on the wire that's one of them only was designated. I think this is like a 16 gauge. I went ahead and grabbed a 14 gauge, and you can tell the difference that this wire can handle more load. Now that we're going to have 6 of these lights going through one, that's going to be the idea. Is I'm going to use 6 of these into one basically for these, so positive. But for the halo and halo switch, we're going to use the factory yellow and white wires in the harness. So I'm just going to pull these 2 out, replace it with this stuck together wire, and we'll start continuing assembly of the harness. All right, we got both ends of the wire loom put together. Now we can go install it on the Jeep and plug it in to our switch panel. See how it works. I'm running the wire right down here in the Jeep's gutter. Then it's gonna go right under the windshield trim like I had the other wire. And I just fished it from here to right here, and my switch box, panel box, is going to be mounted to my fuse box, so I can still open and access my fuses when I need to, but I want to keep it here. That way it's really close, accessible, and I will have the positive and negative wires going right there, so I don't have to stretch too much wires. I'm going to delete a bunch of this stuff because this is going to work off of this panel anymore, not my manual toggle switches. So a little bit of rewiring to do, but we'll install this awesome wireless switch panel and we'll test it out. It's just a bunch of tedious work trying to get everything dialed in. The switch panel comes with some nicely crimped wires ready to deploy. It has an antenna for your wireless controller. So the only problem I'm going to have with this light bar is it's going to take up 3 buttons out of 8 that I have. So the 3 buttons gonna be lights on, lights off, the main light bar, then the halo is gonna be, and then halo select, the motion of halo. That's it. All right, so we got the fuse box installed on the top of the fuse box. I can still open it and do whatever I need to do with the factory fuses. And it's hooked up to the ground on the battery, hooked up over here. I can start moving all of these wires and start hooking them up over here so we can start testing. All right, we temporarily got it hooked up. Oh wow, hold on, do it again. Whoo! That's pretty bright. Yeah, the floods are pretty bright. Oh man, oh my goodness. Whoo! Wow. So this is the remote. I haven't labeled anything yet, but we have the light bar. Boom. The halo. So when they turn on, they do that, and then they go to your selected area. And then you can just change the colors of whatever you want it to look like. But I think this is kind of the best setup. So then you can just go bam, 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 bam. So next what I'm gonna do is I wanna wire up my ditch lights onto the panel so that way I can have it all ready to go on one row of my remote light. And that's kind of the cool thing about this is I can have the remote out here and ready to go. Later, what I can do is I can wire my winch to 2 buttons in and out. And if in case my winch remote dies, I have a backup where I can grab this out of the little pocket and just go and use it as a winch remote. So, but the light bar is assembled. So now I'm just gonna do the finish up, do the pod lights, and get it all painted. And we'll get out there and show you what it looks like out in the field. All right, so we got it to work, even though battery's kind of low. But I got the pods. The side shooters are good to go. If I want to do the halo, I'm just enabling halo on all of them, which is gonna make it really cool to kind of just drive around. The cool factor. And then of course I got the light bar and I got the bumper lights. So all of that works all at the same time. So now I get to look at some of these stickies and pick the ones I need, and then I'm gonna mount this bracket in my car so that way it's really accessible. And I'm thinking on the left side next to the steering wheel I have room. That's where it's going because I can remove it in and out. I want it to be accessible and to be easy to push buttons when I'm driving. So if I'm driving with my two hands on the wheel, and if I need to reach something, it's right there. So pretty good. So now that I installed the light bar and my controller, I can go ahead and test it out here in the backyard, and we'll take a little drive to see the light bars in the dark here shortly, as soon as the sun goes down. But just wanted to show you the placement of the controller that I did, and it's very handy, very close to where I wanted it, and I can still pull it out and be able to charge it or use it as a remote when I'm outside the vehicle to turn on the lights on or off or whatever I want to do. So I have the controller hooked up right here. I have all the lights, the buttons that I need nearby me. I can do them on the fly. So if I'm driving, let's say, you know, and there's an incoming traffic and I have a light bar on, I can just go click off. So, and yeah, you can kind of see it turning on and off right there. So basically it's really handy right here. I can turn everything off. So let's say if I'm going here like this and there's incoming traffic on the off-road and I need to shut everything off, I just go hit off, turn everything back on if I wanted to, or I can just turn it off and turn on individually whatever I want to turn on, so that way it's not coming back with everything at once. And the other thing is you can pull this controller out and grab it with you. The mount stays here, it's pretty solid. So it's gonna be pretty good. And if you need to charge it, on the side of this, there is a USB-C, and you can run it over to your cigarette lighter to charge it if you need it to. So, but I'm gonna put it on charge only whenever I'm not using the Jeep for a couple weeks. So I'll just run a wire, and I have a solar panel that is topping off my batteries anyways when the car is parked for a couple weeks between the trips or between me doing anything, so that way I'm not killing my battery, because that's one of the things that when you have a lot of vehicles, battery maintenance is one of those things that you have to stay on top of if you want your vehicles to be ready to go when you are ready to go, so that way you don't have to work on them too much. All right, we're on top over here. The light bar is fully assembled and painted. I got all the wires tucked away and zip tied out of the way. On these Jeeps we have this little gutter, and I'm running my wire under my window little rubber piece. That's how I had my previous light bar, and that's how it's gonna be. So in the future I would recommend probably 4 of floodlights and 2 of the spot beams, because it's kind of creating a spot in the center of the vehicle instead of flooding it out a little more. So that's just a future me, or maybe making it wider and doing 4 of spots and maybe adding 1 on each side more of floods to get more wider angle. But for me, because I already have the 3-inch, I can use them as a additional side shooters. So with that said, everything's assembled. As soon as the sun goes down, I'll show you what it looks like at night, and we'll drive down the road and kind of see what it does at night. So I like that I'm gonna have the amber light bar, but if I really wanted to, I can take the covers off and have it white for more of a penetration. So we'll see. I'll be able to stop and take off the plastic amber covers real quick. It only takes about maybe like a minute for you to stop, take them off, and go on if amber is not the color of choice for the conditions that you're in. So that's kind of the cool thing. But they do have the light bars that are dual color, like we have on Sasha's Jeep. We reviewed it about a year ago, so it's an awesome option. But I think this is kind of like looks pretty cool with the fully assembled bar. For the Wranglers, they have the 6-inch, which are the big round ones. Those would look cool on the Jeeps that are have round headlights. You know, Cherokees have square, so that's why I went with 4.5s. They are rectangle, and they look a lot better on the Jeeps that are boxes, basically. So, all right, let's wait for the dark, and then we'll finish off this video. All right, it's finally dark outside, enough to where we can go and test out the lights in the dark. So here's my light bar and my side shooters. So with me picking the light bar consisting of spot beams, I am having a lot of spot in the front, but that helps you in the forest and the dirt roads. It shoots through the dust more, and basically you'll be able to shoot far enough to, like the floodlights, they give you ambient light all the way around, but the spotlights, they penetrate farther distance. I need to adjust the lights a little bit so they can shoot straighter, but get on one of the trails over here and see how it looks in the distance. could adjust the lights to be a little higher. Oh, look at that, those jackrabbits running away. Let's chase those rabbits a little bit. So we can turn off the side shooters and turn off the light bar and see how dark it becomes. As soon as you turn on, you see everything around you. So that's kind of the cool thing. You'll be able to see farther with the spot in the front of you. And that way you are able to drive around and see everything around you. And having the buttons right next to your fingers, it's really cool to have them nearby, so you can be able to click on anything you need to click on, and that way you have everything under your hand. So let's turn around right here and take off the yellow covers and do the same light bar with the white light, not the amber lenses. So if I want to go white light, all I got to do is peel these little covers off on all of them, and they're ready to go. Get that last one. And you just throw them in the back of your car, and we got white lights. All right, so we got all the ambers off. So we have white light now. So this is kind of good for the summer when you're driving on narrow roads. The white light penetrates farther, and you're able to see a lot more. Amber is really good in the snow and wet conditions, because then the white light blinds you more. So still got to do a lot of adjustment to get the light bars lined up perfectly, but this is pretty cool to be able to put a bunch of pods together, and you can custom build your own light bar to whatever size you want by just putting together a bunch of these pod lights. I hope you guys like this little test of me building custom things with companies we work with. And NovSight has a 4th of July sale, so jump on there if you want to get any of the lights. They even have some awesome headlight bulbs for different vehicles. We've been using them on our personal cars ever since we tried their stuff out, and we've been buying it ourselves and putting it on our vehicles. So happy 4th of July, and do check out the discount code down below in the description.